Good afternoon. This is Monday, October the 29th of 2018, and this is From the Heart, featuring me, that's the Juan, that's Juan, and only at the Area Career Center here in Hammond, Indiana. And this is the second tape program for today. And today I have to my very right, Ms. Joellen Raby, who is the Assistant Director for the Area Career Center and the Principal for the Area Career Center University. So welcome, Joellen Raby.
Thank you, Mr. Andrade.
All right, thank you. And so we just had your boss and the leader for the Career Center here, and as the Assistant Director for the Area Career Center here and the Principal for the Area Career Center University, how long have you been in those positions here at the Career Center?
Well, at the Career Center, I'm on my sixth year.
Sixth year.
At the Career Center, yes.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your background.
Well, I had been a teacher. I was a social studies teacher prior to becoming an administrator, and I've been an administrator for the school city of Hammond for 22 years.
And what have been the greatest benefits in the area that you just talked about that has been a great strength for you?
Well, as anyone, Mr. Andrade, you learn through your experiences,
Yes.
and believe me, I draw from my teaching experiences as an administrator and as the assistant director of the Career Center and the principal of the university. Specifically, I draw on the experiences that I had while I was working at Hammond High, Clark, and Morton High Schools.
Okay. And so in terms of your relationship with the director as the assistant, what are some of your major responsibilities as the assistant director here?
Well, I am his right-hand gal, and Mr. Miller has a very, very large responsibility, not only being the director of the Career Center, but he's also responsible as being the director of Career Center programs for the district. So he's away from the building a lot, having to go to different meetings, so on and so forth. Fortunately, I like to be in the school, so I'm here and I run the school, so he can go off and do what he needs to do.
Okay. And as the principal for the Career Center here, university, what is that all about?
Well, the Area Career Center University is a very special program. It's an early college program that, again, we are on our sixth year here in Hammond. And the students who are chosen, who apply and are chosen to attend the Area Career Center University can receive dual credits from Vincennes University so that they can possibly earn an associate's degree in one of four pathways.
And what are those four pathways?
The four pathways that the university is driven by are four pathways that have originated from the Area Career Center. That's why the university is located in this building with the Area Career Center. So the Area Career Center having 16 pathways, we have four of those pathways for the University Tigers, and those are computer sciences, criminal justice, health sciences, and pre-engineering.
Okay, and tell us about the staff that teach those particular programs under these pathways.
Well, in the pathways, those are all industry professionals who have chosen to make a career change and have chosen and deliberately wish to teach the upcoming generations of either computer scientists, police officers, attorneys, health sciences, be they nurses, doctors, radiologists, so forth, and pre-engineering.
And so when the students go through one of these four pathways that you talked about under the Vincennes University part of it, is it a one-year program? Is it a two-year program? Do they graduate with a certificate? Do they graduate with an associate degree? Or what's the story on that?
Well, the thing is that since our driving mission is to be able to give students an opportunity to earn an associate's degree, which requires 60 credit hours.
Okay.
The students have to be here the entire 4-year
Okay.
time of their high school.
Okay.
So they apply, again, let me be a little more specific
Yes.
because the Area Career Center University serves only Hammond students.
Okay.
So in the 8th grade year, the 8th grade Clark Pioneers, the Gavitt Gladiators, the Scott Knights, no, the Scott Scorpions and the Eggers Knights will all apply to attend the university. Then we go through an application and an interview process, and then we accept a class of usually between 90 and 100 students every spring for the fall semester.
Now, is that like during the day hours or evening hours?
Oh no, this is all day.
All day? Okay.
They attend the university from 7:30 to 2:15. Yes. We're on what we call a block schedule because we try to emulate the college experience as best we can. So the students attend 4 90-minute classes a day. So they have 4 classes on what we call Blue Day and 4 classes on Gold Day. So they take 16 classes during a school year.
And is there any type of internship associated with this?
With the pathways,
Yes.
we hope to get to that point. Yes, we have to start making some collaborations with area merchants and industry so that we can provide those opportunities for our students.
Now, I think, this is, when you talk about the pathways, it's something I think that the state of Indiana or education department is, I guess, has put together now is going to be a requirement. From this perspective itself, do you see that as a positive thing?
Oh, this is going to just make this school that much more valuable to the families of Hammond. I've always said that this is the best thing for Hammond families that the school city of Hammond could have done because it provides the kids the opportunity, regardless whether they graduate with the associate's degree or not. We give them a taste of what the college experience is so that they're better prepared for college. Because that's one of our driving missions is that we do serve students who are first-generation college attendees. So yes, to go back to your question about the governor and his initiatives, the new diploma requirements, that just gives the university that much more value to the students, the families, and also to the high schools and to the school city of Hammond.
And is that something that is already supposed to take place, or is it going to be taking place like within the next year or two?
Well, the actual pathway is going to go into effect with the class of 2023.
2023.
Right.
Okay, but schools, I guess, can actually work on it now.
They are trying to have an alternate, again, for lack of a better term, pathway or route for a student to receive their diploma because the I-STEP test is such an issue. Students are having such a difficult time passing specifically the math section of the I-STEP. So the diploma requirements that the governor and his board have devised do give them alternatives, such as the ASVAB test, such as having the 6 dual credits that my students will already have earned. So again, that gives the value added.
So you just mentioned, too, the importance of, I guess, establishing partnerships.
Yes.
So it's not just going to be within the school. I think it's going to be a requirement for all schools throughout the state of Indiana.
That's true.
So whose mission is that going to be in terms of, at least from the Career Center, of going out and making the connections and networking and bringing in and forming partnerships? Whose shoulders is that going to fall on?
Well, each one of the 4 pathway teachers works in conjunction with the Career Center teachers of those pathways, and they have advisory boards.
Okay, yes.
So they would work with the advisory board members, and hopefully we could have some kind of a collaboration with them. Other than that, I would really like to reach out to the perhaps the Rotary Club if they could work with us or the Chamber of Commerce would be a very good avenue for us to find those companies that would be willing to take on high school students with high interest in those professions.
Tell us a little bit about the advisory boards.
The advisory boards are professionals that have agreed to help the teachers of the 16 career pathways that are embedded here at the Career Center, help them with their curriculum, advise them on new standards that may be coming into their professions, and also, just as we've already discussed, to help find students internships and opportunities for them post-graduation.
That's very good. So I want to ask you a question that I asked the director when we just taped this program. In the time that you spent here right now at the area career center in your positions, what has been your greatest treasure so far?
Oh my gosh, there's been so many. Just to see the kids line up at graduation in their graduation gowns and just waiting there to receive their diplomas. I mean, that's why educators do what we do, because we want to see kids succeed. We want to see kids follow their bliss and do what they feel they are going to be doing best. And the first step into that career, into following their bliss, is getting the high school diploma. And here, with them having the advantage of earning dual credits first off, but possibly the certificates, the technical certificates, and ultimately, hopefully, the associate's degrees. Oh, that is just such a great satisfaction, truly.
Are there any challenges right now that you've seen in your position as far as what you've done so far and what needs to be done?
Well, you know, you're always in a state of reflection and trying to think about what have we done well and what can we do better. One thing that we can do better is what we just discussed. We need to go out and seek internships and job opportunities for students. That is a challenge in Hammond, though, I have to say. That is a challenge. Transportation being a huge challenge. And also the lack of variety of industry, especially for the professions that we are embedded here in the university. But the challenge that all educators face are these mandates that the government impose upon us, that are unfunded, that we don't have the money, they don't give us the resources, they just tell us that this is what we expect of you, now we'll go out and do it.
So pretty much what may be happening in terms of what the Pathways program that's being put on within the state of Indiana, and reaching out, trying to form partnerships and so forth with, I guess, business and industry and so forth in the business world, is a lot of the schools reaching out to the same business and industries and manufacturing companies and so forth. So hopefully, like I said, the opportunity is going to be out there from all the big business and industry, or even small business and industry and so forth, to form these connections, realize the importance of education and about this new pathway, because in some cases, maybe more than others, in certain situations, not everyone goes on to maybe a 4-year degree or reaches to get a master's degree or beyond these days, especially with the cost of continuing education and so forth.
That is certainly true.
So
that is certainly true. Let me tell you another value that the university has that is really such a tremendous asset for my students and for their families, is that, again, I mentioned that we really seek out the first generation college goers. We are also, one of our missions is to find students who do not have the monetary assets.
Ms. Raby, if I can put you on cut right now for a second. We're about to go to a station break, and then we're going to continue our conversation with Joe Allen Raby.
Okay.
It's what every parent fears.
On October 7th of 2016, they told us that our daughter was dead.
We are back once again to From the Heart, featuring the Juan, that's Juan, and at the Area Career Center in Hammond, Indiana. We have continuing our conversation with Joellen Raby, who is the Assistant Director of the Area Career Center and the Principal for the Area Career Center University. So, Ms. Raby, Principal Raby, I know, like I said, we just had an interview with Mr. Scott E. Miller, and I want to cover some information and questions that weren't asked of Mr. Miller that we can ask you, so that we don't duplicate what we just did earlier today. So one of the things that I think when anyone goes to any school has to do with the issue of money. And in this case, when we talk about a school, we talk about tuition cost. So what would you like to say about tuition cost, if any, as it relates to the school here?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, Mr. Andrade, because this is the best deal in town for the students and families of Hammond. Like I said before, we look for first-generation college goers. We also look for students who are on the free and reduced lunch rolls, free and reduced textbook rolls. So if a student receives free and reduced lunch or textbook assistance, they don't have to pay any tuition costs. Students that are paid for either lunch or textbook pay $25 to Vincennes University, only $25 a credit hour. So an entire 60 credit hour program for a student that is on paid free and reduced lunch and textbook only pays $2,500 for those 60 credit hours.
Which, in comparison to other universities or colleges, we're talking roughly what?
I compare it to Purdue Northwest, since that is our hometown university, and all of us are familiar with Purdue Northwest. Their current tuition costs are $231 a credit hour undergraduate. So you're saving $206 a credit hour.
And so that would be a great benefit to a lot of the families in our region here. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and of course to the students, because it's something that they won't have to, maybe in their own family situation, have to pay down the line.
Yeah, we don't want them burdened with student debt.
And you know, one of the things that I think parents take a look at, and maybe even students and so forth, is how successful the school or college or university is. And in this case, the Area Career Center University and so forth. So the students that I think Mr. or Director Miller just talked about, there's generally speaking about 600 students that are maybe in the school right now, maybe not in different parts of the programs and so forth. But the students that go through the university part, what is the graduation rates?
Well, because we accept students at 9th grade, some go back to their home schools. They can always return to their home schools. But by the time we get them to the senior class, we graduate every member who begins with us at the senior class. Yes. Our first class was 42 students. Okay. Of those 42 students, 19 received either an associate's degree or certificate, technology certificate. 9 of those students did receive associate's degrees. My second graduating class, the class of 2017-18, had 54 students in the class. Of those, 19 received associate's degrees, and another 19 received technical certificates. And all of these credits that these students earn are transferable to any public Indiana college or university.
Very good. And so what kind of feedback have you been getting from the students?
They're telling us how well prepared we have made them for college life. That when we say that you are going to be able to enter whatever university that you choose as a junior, at junior level classes, that is indeed where they are placed.
Okay.
So these 18-year-olds are actually placed in classes with 20 and 21-year-olds because they've already attained that level of pre-knowledge for those upper-level undergraduate classes. They really appreciate honestly, the depth of caring that the faculty of the university do have for our students, and the great deal of preparation that the faculty do very intently care for the students and make certain that they have what they need in order to progress.
Let me ask you this before we even go on with these questions here. What kind of feedback or partnership does this school have with the students' parents, if any?
Well, we try to have very good relationships with the parents,
Okay.
because the parents do know the value of the program. We get terrific parental support.
Okay.
But just as it is in any other public school or any school, as a matter of fact, parent interest is high in the elementary levels. By the time they get to middle school, it wanes, and by the time they get to high school, the parents are busy with the younger kids. But we have terrific parental support. The parents do know what value that this program does provide for their students, and they truly appreciate what we do here.
At this school, does the school keep tabs in terms of dual credits earned?
Well, yes, we do. At this point in time, in fact, Mr. Miller and I just did a report for the school city of Hammond. Over the first 5 years since inception, the students at the Area Career Center of University have earned over 4,600 dual credits. That, in, again, Purdue University Calumet dollars, equals approximately $1.2 million.
So on the average per student, is that a good ratio then?
I would believe so. I would believe so.
So then that would be like a drawing point for students to come to the Career Center?
Oh, definitely. Again, the students that have attended the Career Center and the parents that have seeked out the Career Center for their students do know the value, What makes even more value for the Area Career Center University is honestly these new diploma pathways that the governor and his board have created, because more or less, looking at the early college model, they have built in those requirements into the new diploma pathways, and encouraging all students to earn a modicum of dual credits during their 4 years in high school.
So when you compare students, whether they're coming to this school or any other school that don't graduate, that are either expelled or suspended or keep getting suspended, or for some reason just dropped out of school, what does all this group that I just mentioned right here do to potentially to our communities as opposed to students that do graduate and move on? If you get my address, so to speak.
I do. Every child deserves and has the right to an education, but not all children can be educated in the same way. So we have to find the best way to educate those students that find school perhaps too constrictive, and find out what will click on that light bulb and spark an interest in them so that they understand the value of education. Because without an education, they're not going to be productive as adults.
Let me ask you something about the classroom size here at the Career Center. Are there huge amount of students within the classroom here?
Well,
and I think we have to cut it right after this question here.
Okay. Well, our class sizes vary. Again, our standard subjects such as English language arts, social studies, math, they're going to be just like any other class size, 20 to 30, 25 to 30. But once they are in the pathways, then the classes will become smaller because they're more directed.
Okay, so I guess, are we at the end? Oh, so, okay, so I have to continue, I misread my signal here. So, but what would you like to say to the parents out there in terms of the dual credits and money that maybe the students have saved and they have saved by having the dual credit program, and all the amount of credits that have been taking place within the school that you mentioned, well, over is it 6,000 plus credits, dual credits?
Yeah, 4,600.
4,600.
This year, at the end of this year, for sure, we're going to have over 6,000 credits earned. But the longer that the university has been in existence, and the more knowledgeable the parents of Hammond know of the university, that they seek us out. You know, I've been in Hammond for 22 years, and I have parents come to me with the 6th and 7th graders saying, Mrs. Raby, I want my son or my daughter to be at the university with you. I want them to go to the university. Because they understand the mission here. They understand really how seriously we take our mission, because we need to prepare students for college. So we provide as much of a college-like atmosphere for the 279 students currently enrolled here at the university, so that when they do graduate, there can be a smooth transition to whatever college or university they choose.
That's good. So what message would you have for the parents at that in terms of trying to draw them to the Career Center?
Well,
Or have their children come to the school here?
well, seek us out. Come, if anybody would like to have a tour of the facility, I'm more than willing to take parents on a tour. It is small. We are just one hallway in this very large school, this very large complex that is the ACC, but we do very great things here, and we are always open to parent engagement.
And what would you like to say to potential students about coming to the Area Career Center?
That please, we encourage everyone to apply. We take all applications. We don't say absolutely no to anybody. Believe me, there's always going to be perhaps that spark that a student really wants to be engaged. Maybe the spark comes a little late in their middle school years, but as long as we can detect it, we're going to want that student to come here to the university.
And what is the application process?
Like I said before, they apply their 8th grade year. At the end of the 8th grade year, we vet the applications, then we interview every student at their home school. And then a committee does examine all applications that have been submitted, and then we make our decision. And as I said before, we take between 90 and 100 freshmen every fall.
That's very good. So contact information?
I am at Joelle and Raby at 5727 Soul Avenue in Hammond, and the phone number is 219-933-2428.
Okay, we are here on From the Heart, featuring the one and only, and we started out with Mr. Scott Miller, who is the director, principal, I guess, for the career and technical education. Speaking now with Joellen Raby, who is the assistant director of the Area Career Center and the principal for the Area Career Center University, to promote this great facility to the parents and to the potential students for the region here, to take a look at what's happening, what's taking place that is of cost savings to the parents and the students in terms of achieving an education to move on and start a career. So it's a great opportunity, and this will be the first of many programs that we've taken today with staff to promote this school and highlight all the great things that are taking place here at the Area Career Center. This is Juan M. Andrade. This is From the Heart. And on that note, I want to say thank you